1973. Led Zeppelin was the biggest band on planet Earth. They had broken the Beatles' attendance records. They owned a private jet called the Starship. They were walking mythological figures. Robert Plant, the flaxen-haired lion; Jimmy Page, the enigmatic guitar wizard; John Paul Jones, the quiet genius; and John Bonham, the thunderous heartbeat. They represented the peak of rock and roll excess, power, and glory. To the public, they seemed untouchable. But behind the velvet ropes of their mansion parties and sold-out stadiums, a shadow was growing. It was a shadow cast by the band's architect Jimmy Page and his dangerous obsession with the arcane. While the world watched the light of their stage show, a darker energy was fueling the machinery of Led Zeppelin. To understand the curse, we must understand Aleister Crowley. Crowley was a controversial British occultist, ceremonial magician, and poet from the early 20th century. The press labeled him the wickedest man in the world. His philosophy, Thelema, was summed up by the commandment, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." While other rock stars were experimenting with drugs, Jimmy Page was experimenting with Crowley's teachings. Page began collecting Crowley's memorabilia, books, and grimoires. His obsession went so far that he had the Thelemic axiom, "Do what thou wilt," etched into the run-out groove of the first pressing of the album Led Zeppelin III. It was a signal to those in the know. The leader of the biggest band in the world was a serious student of black magic. In 1970, Jimmy Page took his obsession to a dangerous new level. He purchased Boleskine House, a lonely manor on the southeastern shore of Loch Ness in Scotland. This wasn't just any house. It was Aleister Crowley's former residence and his personal temple, where he allegedly performed months-long rituals to summon the spirits of darkness. Legend said the house was haunted, cursed by the spirits Crowley had summoned but failed to banish. Locals warned Page to stay away. He didn't listen. Page viewed Boleskine as a sanctuary of power, a place to channel the dark energies required to take Led Zeppelin to the stratosphere. While Page saw it as inspiration, others saw it as inviting a demon across the threshold. The acquisition marked the moment the abstract lore became concrete reality. In 1971, the band released their masterpiece, Led Zeppelin IV. The album had no title, no band name, and no pictures on the cover. Instead, on the inner sleeve, were 4 mysterious symbols chosen by each band member to represent themselves. This was Jimmy Page's idea. While Plant, Jones, and Bonham chose symbols from standard occult texts representing Trinity, Balance, and Mothers, Page's symbol, nicknamed Zoso, was different. Page has never revealed its true meaning, but occult researchers have traced it back to a 1557 grimoire, where it represents Saturn, the planet of limitations, endings, and death. Many believe Page was not just using the symbol as a signature, but as a magical sigil, binding the band and everyone who bought the album to a cosmic force far beyond their control. The center of the Led Zeppelin universe is the song Stairway to Heaven. It is an anthem of hope and light. But by the early 1980s, a terrifying rumor spread across American radio. Evangelists claimed that if you played Stairway to Heaven backward, you would hear hidden subliminal messages. Specifically, during the line "bursts of light that curve," playing it backward allegedly reveals the words, "Here's to my sweet Satan." While the band dismisses this as a ridiculous coincidence, audiophiles have debated it for decades. Is it a cognitive illusion? Or did Jimmy Page use backward masking, a technique championed by Aleister Crowley, to hide a dedication to the adversary in rock's holy hymn? The controversy only solidified the belief that Led Zeppelin was playing a dangerous game with the other side. For years, the band enjoyed the fruits of their alleged pact. They were unstoppable. Then in 1975, the shadow finally reached them. It hit Robert Plant first. While vacationing in Greece, Plant and his family were in a near-fatal car crash. He suffered severe injuries that put him in a wheelchair for months. But that was just the warning shot. In 1977, while on tour in America, Plant received a devastating phone call. His 5-year-old son, Karak, had died suddenly of a stomach virus. Plant was destroyed. He retreated from the band, convinced that the Led Zeppelin energy was malignant. He began to resent Jimmy Page, seeing Page's occult practices as the source of the tragedy that was methodically picking off the things Plant loved most. The final blowout of the curse came on September 25, 1980. The band was rehearsing for an upcoming tour at Jimmy Page's house, another former Crowley residence. John Bonham, the band's legendary drummer, had been drinking heavily all day, reportedly 40 shots of vodka. He passed out and was put to bed. The next morning, he was found dead. He had choked on his own vomit. He was 32 years old. Bonham was the heartbeat of the band. Without him, there was no Led Zeppelin. Bonham was the heartbeat of the band. Without him, there was no Led Zeppelin. The band officially dissolved. The myth says that Jimmy Page signed the pact for fame, but the rest of the band paid the ultimate price. Plant lost his son. Bonham lost his life. Jimmy Page simply stopped being able to make music. So, was Led Zeppelin cursed? Or was it just a perfect storm of ego, addiction, and tragic coincidence? Psychologists would argue that the band's lifestyle of excess made these tragedies inevitable. But music fans don't want a logical explanation. The lore of the curse is part of the Led Zeppelin experience. It adds a layer of danger, mystique, and supernatural weight to the greatest riffs ever recorded. When you listen to Dazed and Confused or Whole Lotta Love, you are hearing music that feels like it was summoned, not written. Whether Jimmy Page actually signed a contract with the devil in blood at Boleskine House, or whether he just wanted to build a brilliant marketing myth, the fact remains. Led Zeppelin created magic, and magic always demands a price. If you're ready for more rock and roll ghost stories, subscribe and join our investigation.